final game for this evening. It is the Singapore Asia Finals for the IEM event that's coming up in Singapore. Azubu Blaze versus KT1, and it is all down to this. One apiece here between these two teams. We will see exactly who gets to go through and be rewarded the privilege of going to IEM Singapore and fighting for $50,000 worth of cash and prizes. My name is Patience Knight, and I'm going to be joined for our last game after a very long day, 2 days in fact, by Papa Smithy. Papa, how you holding up, man?
Look, I'm doing fantastically. Like, I could whine about long days about it, but at the end of the day, we are privileged to cast amazing teams like KT Rolster A and Azubu Blaze, and even interact with them during the long pauses we've had. And there's a lot on the line in this game. This is a massive, massive game. It's why we've seen the surge in viewers. It's why we have reached this final game, a best of one in effect. It's the third game of a best of three, with all the marbles on the line. One of these teams is going to IEM Singapore, and one of these teams is going home very, very unhappy.
Yep, going to bed very unhappy as well. So just to catch up with the draft, Azubu Blaze on your left for this final game. Dr. Mundo, Nocturne, and Lee Sin, the same bands from last game.
The same reset respect bands. It's 3 jungle bands. Tells you what Azubu Blaze thinks of KT Reset, the jungler.
Yeah, and almost the same bands from KT. They had Diana, they've got Vayne, and they have a Lulu in there as well. So Lulu was the change up from last one. I believe they had... Can't actually quite remember from the last game, unfortunately. But they had a different band in there. Lulu is the one that's been changed, but still that Vayne band targeting Jack, and still that Diana band as well. Don't want to see any of that out of Ambition. Looks like we had first pick Oriana, which was fairly standard here. Actually, that was the last band, Oriana. So that's why she's gone through here as first pick for Azubu Blaze. Reset went with Olaf for this time around. Looks like that's going to be in the jungle for them. And Hero has picked up Zyra, sorry, which could be a support here. In fact, looking like it, given the other picks that we can see now. Nunu Jax was the next 2 picks there for Azubu Blaze. And Corky plus Rumble captures us up to where we are right now in the draft, with Azubu having their 4th and 5th picks here. The final pick for the final draft here in this tournament. So important to get all this right. We are going to see Jax, Flames as Jax again. It's actually interesting that he's not going to Aurelia for whatever reason. But, you know, he seems to have found a new buddy in Jax. And, woo. I don't know about this. Alright. They've decided, though, they want Cho'Gath. And Captain Jack is going to be bringing Kog'Maw again. The last time we saw Captain Jack on Kog'Maw in this tournament, he played great, but his team could not find the will to protect him, could not find the way to let Kog'Maw do all the damage that he needed to do. And they got dismantled by MVP White in that game 1. In fact, that's how they lost their first game against MVP White. Rattled back 2 straight there in absolutely incredible games to take it here. And that may continue the trend here. KT1 took the first game here in this series. Azubu Blaze just answered back with a very quick 25-minute game. And now the last game here. I don't know. Would you put it all in on Kog'Maw if you're Jack?
It's an interesting comp here, because they don't have just the single damage threat of Kog'Maw. They do have Flame running Jax, and if he can keep up that amazing play from last game, he can be a conduit from the ball for the ball. You know, to leap strike in and have that Oriana ult go off. He can be an assassin. I mean, Jax is so versatile if he's not held down. He snowballs lanes so well that I think it's all about Flame here, which is something to say for a new laner, you know, a new top laner. He's had his troubles this tournament, but Jax is kind of the wildcard here, because, you know, you might say this is all about the AD carry, and it is, but you know that Captain Jack is going to provide a certain level of quality. He's going to get farmed. He's not going to get too far behind. He's just a fantastic, fantastic player, and the big wildcard has to be Flame here, the new top laner.
Yeah, he played a great game with Jax in that last game that we had on stream there against KT1. So we're going to have to see if he can continue that trend and play well here. His matchup in top lane looks like it's going to be Rumble, actually, which is interesting to me. I'm not quite sure how that one plays out. But Rumble has always been known as a very strong laner once he hits level 3. Just really gets going from there. I mean, do you have any I guess, select thoughts on that matchup, Papa? Or?
Before the Jax rework, Rumble used to be one of the hardest counters to Jax. He just used to thrash him in lane once he hit level 4, just to smash through him. I mean, Jax is a really strong laner right now, and he snowballs well, so I think it will be the jungler interaction that will make the difference up top. If Rumble's allowed to get levels, I mean, his kill potential on Jax is immense at level 6, especially if Jax uses his leap strike offensively. But I think the junglers will make the big impact there.
And I guess we'll go to the jungle matchup next, and this is interesting. Reset is actually taking the jungle that Helios had in the last game. He wants the Olaf this time around. Decides that he wants that particular one. Although, was it from the jungle last game? Maybe it was wrong. There was certainly an Olaf involved. Was it jungle Olaf? I think it was.
There was a jungle Olaf last game run by Helios.
Yes, it was by Helios. And Helios instead is going to have Cho'Gath in the jungle for him as well. We've seen a lot of very strong Cho'Gath play. MVP White in particular played a great amount of Cho'Gath to incredible effect.
But we've seen a lot of strong Reset play. He has been on fire this tournament, win, lose or draw for KT Rolster A. And he's on a snowballing, potentially carry jungler in Olaf. Olaf gets very scary very fast if he gets his early ganks off, so what better man to entrust that role to than Reset?
Yeah, I think that's a great point, and Reset really has pulled his weight the entire tournament long. And if he can continue to do that, his team's going to look good, but Azubu Blaze is just such a strong team, and I think I look at this and I feel so afraid, because Captain Jack's Kog'Maw is so good. I mean, he's AD carry. You could probably give him the kitchen sink as an AD and he'd play it to perfection. That's how good this guy is. But Kog'Maw is such a threat late game. And Jack knows how to get the maximum out of that champion.
And KT knows Captain Jack's potential here. I mean, Vayne has been banned against Captain Jack this whole tournament just because Jack is confident now with these Ezreal nerfs, with the nerfs to the Holy Trinity of AD carry, to basically pick Vayne into anything. And if he can go even or better, everyone knows about Vayne's power late game. And Kog'Maw's much the same. Not quite the hyper carry that Vayne is when it comes to dueling, but man, if he does the unchecked damage down the back line, he will shred down tanks and carries alike. So it didn't work out the first time they tried this strategy, but they do have that damage threat from Jax here. They do have Orianna. They do have a tanky wall with the Nunu and the Chos. So, I mean, they're all set up for what should be a Protect the Cog comp, but what do KT have to offer here? This is the big one. This is the real telling point. I mean, they've already taken a game off Blaze, so they can leave this series, win, lose, or draw head high, but they want to go to Singapore with their brother team.
Who doesn't? And that's such a sweetener for that deal as well for KT. Not only do they get to go with their other team, their brother team, their B team. KT2 are already through, and KT1 would love to join them here, but Azubu Blaze have got a lot to say about that before we get into that territory, so we'll see. Bottom lane's going to be crazy, by the way, because Nunu Cog is possibly one of the most late game lanes if there ever was one. Basically, sacrifice your early game and say, you know what, I just want to farm. I just want to go even or better in the farm, and then I'm good from there. And when I get to mid game, when I get to late game, that Nunu Blood Boil is going to put me over the top, and I'm going to be the hyper carry. And Kog'Maw with a Nunu Blood Boil is disgusting, just like Nunu Vayne is. But look at the lane here from KT. Corki Leona. Almost as aggressive as it gets. You know, I think if we had Urgot Leona, that might be the slightly more aggressive one, but so much burst here, so much potential to catch this Kog'Maw. And Captain Jack, interestingly, doesn't actually have a cleanse, which is something we would often see here. He's going for something that he actually seems to love all tournament long. He's going for heal.
I think it's a real statement from KT Rolster A to play Leona in this last game. I mean, when Leona gets going, she can just completely deny bot lane with her presence, with levels, with a few items, especially if she's ahead. Leona is an amazing presence down bot lane, but she does have that potential to be shut down. You know, if she dies a few times early, she can never really get to that tanky mass where her mere presence, the mere threat of CC is really strong. So to pick a kind of champion that I guess is a snowball champion bot lane, which is kind of a strange thing to talk about, it's a statement of intent, and it's this is going to be some game.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see exactly how this all pans out in a second. But these two teams, they have looked so good in recent tournaments. Azubu, you know, internationally, and KT from the games we've seen have looked so good. And KT, they've been the up-and-coming organisation, and KT1, I think, have been leading the charge in terms of performance. So, if taking this game here against Blaze, closing out the series 2-1 and getting to Singapore instead of Blaze, says quite a lot about how strong the organisation is. And, you know, what they're saying, having only been formed just over a month ago now. Very young organisation still. Picked up a lot of good players from a lot of teams that are either have changed around or are no longer with the Korean scene. And this is kind of the ultimate test here. I mean, you know, they want to compete internationally, they want to show the world what they've got to go past the Azubu Blaze, a team that knows a whole lot about international competition.
And let's not forget that it was KT Rolster A in the qualifiers for IEM Singapore before the round of 16 that knocked out Azubu Frost, one of the other teams you would have to say be the favorites for this event. So they have the opportunity to knock the Azubu organization out of IEM Singapore, and what a statement that would be.
And definitely Azubu Blaze looking for a little bit of revenge here. You know, they don't want their organization to be beaten by the same team. What would that say to them, you know? So there's a lot of, you know, a lot of pride, a lot of tournament on the line right now. And certainly getting a chance to go to IEM Singapore, not just, you know, gets you a chance to get to a great tournament, but puts you in a situation where you get a lot of money. Just for showing up to IEM, you did pretty well. It was a $50,000 prize pool for that event.
Although you are left to your own devices to get there.
That's true. But I'm sure that's not a problem for these two professional teams. And, I mean, winning a tournament of that scale is just absolutely... That's a dream. What team doesn't want to win IEM? You know, it's like saying, you go, oh, do you want to win MLG? No, not really. I'm not interested. Of course you are. You're a professional team. That's your dream. That's what you play for. And there's lots of big money, big prizes, and big glory on the line here. Not just for this event, but of course for IEM coming up as well. So we are going to kick things off down here in the bottom lane. Nope, never mind. Reset down here. Looking to be very aggressive. He's actually going to find Helios. And that's a beautiful little bait, but he checks the brush. Possibly a little bit too late. He does use his... Oh! Dodges the rupture there very nicely. Uses his ghost there to get out. But Invade foiled there with a really cute brush trick there from Helios. He knew what was coming. He studied Reset. He's had a couple of games, you know, he's seen them play. They frost played them as well. I think he knows what's up right now. And completely denying any aggression that Reset wanted to go for there. And that's been his trademark, I have to say, in a lot of these games. Reset's aggression, he's dictating the play, the flow of the lanes, and a lot of jungle invasion, a lot of aggression.
And him actually not getting it off there is the exception to the rule. He's been on point with his invades thus far, but good organized play as Azubu plays.
Yeah, Helios just really outfoxed the Fox there in that spot. Really, really nice there. Looks like Zero's pushing it early on here, playing Zyra up against Orianna, being piloted by Ambition for this last game. Pretty standard right now. I mean, Orianna takes a few levels to get going. Zyra aggressively using her plants and her AoE there to try and get these minions down. Just push her in a bit. And Rumble struggling a little bit before level 3. No real surprise. Flame doing a very good job pushing him in here early against Vitamin.
No points in Flame Spitter, of course, at level 1 and 2. The shield and the Electro Harpoon picked up at level 1, so won't really look to trade till about level 4 is probably the time when Rumble starts to ramp up in top lane.
Yep, and back down the bottom. I mean, this is never what you want to happen when you see Kog'Maw Nunu, especially with Leona, but if you can afford to do this in this lane, pushing is really beneficial, and I think they know where Olaf is as well, so this aggression is quite intelligent here from Azubu Blaze. But Jack is just trying to push in this lane, you know, prevent them from... Just deny them space to really make moves and initiate on the Kog'Maw or the Nunu, which is really what Corky Leona wants to be doing.
And it's this aggressive play just from level 1, this reckless disregard of the jungler, that allows Captain Jack to open up those CS lanes so early, because if you push in early, a lot of effort required between the AD and support to proc all those last hits.
Yeah, and I mean, as you said, the base damage is not that good. A lot of
Hero doing admirably though, only behind 5 CS so far.
Yeah, not too bad, but this Blood Boiled Kog'Maw is just spitting down minions as fast as he can. And Captain Jack does not miss many CS, so we'll see if Hero can keep up. I mean, Captain Jack took a very definitive lead in that last game. Hero struggling a little bit to keep up, although there was some craziness going on with lane swaps, so maybe he can't be blamed entirely, but certainly Captain Jack looks to be one of the strongest AD carries in this tournament. Certainly one of the strongest in the world. He's shown it. I mean,
he wants to show his wares on the international scene once again, but much of this game to go.
Yeah, I mean, 2 MLGs and an IEM would be a pretty nice trophy cabinet for Azubu Blaze, but they're going to win this game first, and that's their chance to get there, so we'll see. Looks like Helios now coming in the mid lane looking for Zero. Cho'Gath trying to line it all up. They're just hiding in the bush, and there he goes in. The ping has started. Very fast Cho'Gath coming in. That's a great grasping roots, and Zero is trying to get the trade kill here. And Reset comes in as well, but I think that is going to be first blood, and there it is to Orianna. And Ori well out of the way there. No passive there. Helios just takes a big chunk of damage there. From, I think, Rise of the Thorns is what I figured out the name of that one was. In our fun trivia time with Zara. But yeah, first blood there for Orianna.
Around Jack's up top lane.
And now level 5, he's able to do that. Turning that lane completely around. Going from Flame pushing in very early to Vitamin having a really nice push in now. And he's going to go back, probably get himself a ward. Continue this aggression here in this lane. And it's kind of what we thought was going to happen with Rumble. Certainly a champion that just gets better with levels. Level 3, level 4.
Interesting to see him rush the Sork shoes here. Not a Doran shield. Nothing related to a defensive item here. I thought I could have forgiven him for going a Ruby Crystal, you know, to the expected like haunting guys. You do usually see a couple of Magic Band items picked up in the Rumble, but an expression of intent. He's clearly happy to trade with Jax on his own terms.
Yeah, and he just wants to be even more aggressive. I mean, the mobility helps a little bit, but really, it's melee versus range anyway, kind of. Rumble is more range than Jax, but not entirely range.
Oh, I mean, they're fiercely melee in the same ways. I mean,
yes.
One of them has a gap closer, the other one has a movement speed and a slow. But Rumble an AP bruiser, and Jax, an AD bruiser.
And Rumble, as always, looking strong here in the early few levels in his lane. Can hit level 6 soon as well. In fact, he's already got it. Looks like Flame has gone back now. Phosphorus bomb there for Hero. Wants to do a lot of damage here. Zenith Blade attempted there from all, but he does miss. Captain Jack just relentless here. Got an early Vamp Scepter and some Zerka Greaves. So really just wants to push as hard as he can here.
The Hero, quite happy.
Yeah, he's looking good. Only 5 CS
behind
ideal.
Still. They don't have the same lane presence, but he's not getting crushed in CS this game.
Leona takes a lot of free damage there, though. That's certainly one of the things about missing them Zenith Blades on Leona. You really have to go all or nothing when you play her. And when you miss, you just take a lot of free damage, especially from somebody like Kog'Maw. You see Reset now picking up red buff for himself as well. Just powering through the jungle on Olaf. Cho'Gath actually has a very fast boost mobility here. And at Heart of there we go. Helios pretty comfortable with this build right now. And so that Reset's going back as well. I wonder what he'll be getting. What do we get, Olaf? Olaf, Heart of Gold as well. The jungler's basically on par as well in terms of items. In terms of CS as well, it's pretty even. Shows up a couple. But they're jungle minions, so they're not worth as much. And look at Lustboy. So aggressive here. Just trying to zone them out. Really wants to just, again, deny this Leona space. Leona does need quite a bit of room to move. She wants to find those very nice angles for a lot of her skill shots. That Zenith Blade, very important to her.
And look at this clever ward by Vitamin up the top lane. He knew that Cho'Gath was coming in for the lane gang. So instead of warding the river, he elected to ward the brush entrance to the lane gang. That's a very savvy play by Vitamin.
Well, there's a nice blue ward and a nice mid ward there as well, placed for KT. So they kind of had decent vision of Cho. Obviously not in the river itself, but they're probably going to see it coming. Olaf almost finds the undertow there. That was very close to being a blue buff steal. Would have made Ambition very grumpy in the mid there, but she does pick it up. That's going to make Orianna happy. Although Zyra is winning in CS pretty handily. Vitamin's actually in a bit of trouble up in the top lane. Overheats now to run away with that Junkyard shield going, but he's got to back off now. Flame continuing his... Oh no. Vitamin knows. He backs off again. Flame takes a few free turret hits there, and Olaf's going to come up in the top. Cho'Gath's actually fishing now as well. Really trying to secure that kill.
Come here with some proxy. No, Cho'Gath just backs away.
Yeah. Decides against it. He's like, yeah, that's fine. I'll just go back to my jungle. I'll help you push, Jax, in fact. That's what I'll do. Make sure your lane resets properly. Hero very low down here as well. So much Kog'Maw damage coming in. Really need to try and get a gank happening, but Olaf's been busy. Reset's been up, around the top lane, doing some farm. Orianna's coming around as well. And look at this, immediately back off here. Nice ball, actually, great ult here. Ambition could be in trouble, but flashes out of the way there. A really nice counter run there from Zero. Oh, Jack, that living artillery. One more? No, not quite. Hero backs off. Even Valkyries as well. He knows the range. He knows he could have been in trouble there. But Captain Jack continuing to assert dominance here. Now he's growing a bit more of a CS lead. That's a great bit from Zyra. The beautiful stun! But the absolute zero from Nunu is going to keep him at bay. And Wall takes a little bit of damage. Flash from Zero though. He wants it and he gets it! That's a great play there from Zyra. Even tanking the passive there from Kog'Maw. Maybe trying to get a bit more damage onto Nunu. But they needed something down here in the bottom lane. Did KT1. And that was delivered.
Zyra, Zero there committed a lot of time to bottom lane. Forced a flash out of Orianna, had the ult down, still got the kills. So worth it in the end, and hopefully gives Corki a bit of a chance to get more of a foothold in this lane.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they need, because Kog'Maw, when he's going even, it's bad. When he's going better, it's worse. And you definitely want to try and keep him down, so that's going to go a long way to at least keeping Hero more in this lane, because he was losing a little bit. Obviously caught up a bit now, so that really timely gank there from Zyra, helping things out. Nice run from mid. We don't often see... I mean, often, we think about junglers. They're the ones that have to kind of come to the lane. But, mid, they're pretty close to the other two lanes as well. If you get a
and Olaf's presence has been required up top lane so far. It's not like he's been doing nothing and farming his camps. He just hasn't been able to do it. So Zero put it on his own shoulders to provide the roam and executed it perfectly.
And that's exactly the kind of play that's going to keep KT winning this game. I mean, there's not a whole lot going on, but it almost feels like there's a clock ticking, a bit of a doomsday clock here with Kog'Maw. Because that as the late game gets closer and closer for Azubu, it just gets
Kog'Maw
so much
will
better.
outscale Corki. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, and their team will just outscale. I think they've set up Cogmore well this time, by the way. I think they've set it up a bit better. Because in that last game we saw with MVP White, not quite as much. I mean, KT1 still got a lot of chances here in this game. Make no mistake, this game is very close still. Barely 1,000 goal between these two teams. In fact, it's not even. Just under. But they have to try and contain Cogmore. They have to be in a spot where their mid-game presence looks very good, so that they can try and force things out before the late game gets too out of hand for them. And if they get behind in the early game, it's basically done.
So Olaf's picked up on Oracles, cleared out the Nocturne almost ward for the advance warning for the lane gank. And it's good. They're picking up a bit of a vision advantage here because they need any sort of advantage they can carve out, especially if they're going to rely on the Zyra alone down bot.
And this is really going to help reset. I think they must know that maybe Chosy, yeah, wall face checks it. Actually looks for Cog and he does find it. Reset coming in now as well. They want to get Cogmore if they can, but maybe not that safe. Hero coming in there, but Captain Jack is taking a lot of damage and he will go down. Reset though, cutting back and forth. He wants to try and save his oracles and he does. Wall takes a lot of damage there and there's a rupture to cover the retreat. But that was a great gank there, and I think Azubu Blaze thought their counter gank was going to be better than Olaf because they knew he was there. They absolutely knew, but KT knew. They knew they could get it there, and maybe this will turn into a dragon as well for them. Looks like it will. Zero's in here as well. Zara, great at doing buffs, by the way.
And you were talking about the need for KT to make use of their comp. They're doing it.
They really are. And that Oracle to reset setting up a whole lot more. I mean, we put a lot on his shoulders in the draft saying he is the man. He is the man that needs to help KT win this game. And this is the kind of play he needs to be making. Aggressive Oracles here and Olive clearing out the wards, making the plays. And resets.
And you know, for people complaining about how much the jungle stagnated into double GB10, although he has got double GB10, let's be clear here, kind of support junglers that are more about warding and teamfight CC. Reset is carry junglers all the time, as you could tell by the targeted bans. There was the Nocturne ban, the Lee Sin ban, and the other one escapes me actually, but it was, you know, another carry jungler. They just are very afraid of Reset's presence. And
it was Mundo actually, I think.
Mundo, okay, as well. So, man, a lot on Olaf's shoulders, but he's doing his absolute best here.
He is. I mean, he played Jarvan last game as well. Speaking of carry junglers, so Jarvan certainly is within that category. I don't think firmly, but certainly.
And he was probably the person who could hold their head up highest from that game.
He was. He really was. He had a great game, but that's the team not quite there for that one. I guess back in the top lane, not too much in terms of CS. Flame's a little bit ahead, but here comes Reset again. Needs to make the plays, but Flame gets out. Just leaps off to a minion, no problem at all. And 110 to 97, about 10-15 CS difference there in the top lane. Not too bad though. Looks like Flame though, very confident on his Jax play, plays very aggressively. There is a lane game being set up there in top lane as well, so keep my eye out on that. And no more wards sadly up top for Rumble. In fact, yeah, he's gone. He's going to give up a lot of damage here in this turret, maybe even the whole thing. Flame looks for him, he knows that he's recalling. But now it's time.
He must know that must also give him that advantage that, hey, if he's going to proxy that hard and take 2 free turret hits, Cho'Gath's probably there.
Yeah, so Rumble, you know, using the Spidey sense there, getting out of the way. Really smart play there. And Cho's setting up, he's got Oracles for himself. To be expected there. A good response there from Helios. Doesn't want to be the only one without an Oracles roaming around the jungle. Oriana picks up some raids. Zara back to blue buff.
And Zara does have the item advantage, the completed Athene's Unholy Grail compared to just the constituent parts for Oriana, though she does have the gold to finish it, I believe.
I think she does, just haven't quite gotten back to shop yet. And double blue buff now in the mid. Both mids pick up their blues again, and we'll continue the race here. 20 CS ahead though for Ambition's quite nice. And Oriana, once she gets levels, once she gets blue buff, definitely can start clearing out these minion waves pretty quickly. I mean, so can Zyra, but Oriana's very, very efficient when she gets going. But it looks like bottom
double golem's been picked up here.
Yeah, a bit backed off actually. Hero's really caught up here. I mean, he's only been about 5 CS the difference for the most part, and he's evened that back up to pretty much that again. I do know Cho's here though, so they're going to have to be careful. Wall does have another ward? No, does not. Human ward time. Just wants to make sure that Cho isn't coming. But he is going to show himself here in mid. Does find another ward. So the aggression can continue down the bottom lane now for KT. But this game is bouncing on. Oh, Vitamin. In trouble.
He's finding it increasingly hard to lane against Rumble here, and unfortunately Olaf not available to relieve some of the pressure.
Equalizer on the minions there. And continue proxying from Flame. He is so aggressive. It's funny that this is the guy that replaced Shy. Because I'm getting flashed.
I mean, Shy was subbing, let's be honest. He replaced Reaper.
So, yeah, replaced Reaper. But I guess it's funny to me that Shy was the guy that's subbing for him, because it almost feels like, you know, a shadow of Shy right now with the very aggressive proxying here. I mean, he's not playing Singe, unfortunately, but
He'd be forgiven for thinking he's channeling the spirit of Singe with all this proxying behind the turret, though.
Yeah, just so much aggression. Flame really likes to take over his lanes, it seems like. Not afraid at all. And Jack's a good champion if you want to just go toe-to-toe all the time with your enemy. Captain Jack, by the way, that was the most ridiculous dodge of a Zenith blade I think I've ever seen. He actually just casually walked out of that. I mean, part of that is due to the high mobility because of the Surly Seal and the Blood Boil, but he just knew. He saw it. He just walked back. And Captain Jack, he's known for dodging skill shots, but that is something else. So, I mean, really, what can we say? What more can we say about Captain Jack?
He's pretty good at AD carry.
Pretty good at AD carry. Solar Flare missing
Solar
there.
Flare misses just slightly.
Bit hard to judge there from more because again,
to be fair though, I mean the
fast.
spacing of the lane was a strange engage because I mean Corki would have had to Valk in even if that Solar Flare hits. Not sure what War was thinking there.
And Cho's here as well. I mean, you know, you play Leona, you kind of feel like you have to do something. We are going to see a tower dive now. Cho gets around the back, knows there's no wards here, but Ward's going to check it. I think it could be to his doom. The Feral Scream misses though, and he flashes out of the way. The Valkyrie there from Hero as well, but that's a great rupture, and a lot of damage coming in. There's the Absolute Zero, but Ward reinitiates that onto Captain Jack, and that's a beautiful bit of play. I think cancelled Nuna's ult in there as well to reduce a little bit of that damage. And nobody dies there in the end.
No Feast of Ale for Cho'Gath. That probably would have been a kill onto Leona there, but amazingly in such a close trade, everyone walks away with some health.
Yeah, no worries. But this is still going to favour Cogmore here. He is now pushing in this lane. In fact, Nunukog, yeah, that's a dead tower. Alright, so the first tower of the game, it's 18 minutes almost. Finally goes down. And I guess as tradition, Azubu Blaze are the ones to do it. They've been known for pushing some towers every now and then. Flame as well, look at this.
Now look over here, Olaf has gotten face checked by Cho'Gath.
And finding Helios, Ragnarok through the rupture. He does want to pick it up here. There's a great slow there from Oriana. Command distance is such a useful ability. I mean,
to be fair, reset very low on mana. He probably would not have been able to finish that kill, but you're right, a good flash nonetheless.
Yeah, better be safe than sorry, that's for sure. You know, you might look silly when you flash, you might not need to, but you look even stupider when you die. And Olaf now continuing his reign of terror. Gonna keep running up here, gotta find Flame. In fact, it's a good spot, but lots of really nice wards here for Azubu. Flame knows exactly which way to run. Ooh, he's maybe gonna get cut off here. No, Oriana's coming in for support. Really nice subtle little play there from Ambition. Just moves into a position where Jax, if he needs to, has her as an escape route. Really nice little play, really nice. Double FTN's up in mid now, by the way. They are just trading
so
skills.
little between these two teams base through time. All you can really say is that Captain Jack is ahead on CS and playing at hyper carry compared to the more standard AD carry like Corki. It's not like Corki's horrible late game. He's more than serviceable, but he's no Cogmore, especially without a support like Nunu to buff him up.
Correct. And I mean, could we ask for anything more than having a close game for our last game of the night, especially against these two teams? I mean, we'll see. This game it's going to get to a point where this game's going to explode.
And this is a matchup I think we will see plenty of times in the future. Oh boy, as the Tower Dive comes into Rumble, he's in a lot of trouble.
Yep, and now that is finally Flame going to pick up what he wanted there. He spent all this time trying to dive, proxying it up, being aggressive, and Flame's just dominance of top lane. When he's looked good, he's looked incredible. And now the engage coming around for Dragon. Was attempted there by KT, but not quite taken in 4v4 action. Maybe 4v5, no, never mind, Rumble's dead. And this is going to be Dragon for Azubu Blaze. And Flame takes top tower as well. 2-0 now for Azubu Blaze in the turret score. And who can stop the champ? I mean, Jax, again, he's a fantastic duelist. And Flame just seems to put himself in these spots where he's ahead, and he says, you know what? Come into my arena, come into my office.
The only answer I have to that is it's certainly not Rumble.
No, not this time around.
There was that kind of window around level 4 to 5 where you're like, okay, with the jungle gank, probably could take down Jax this Rumble, but that time's unfortunately long past.
And Flame knew that too. He basically played to not have that happen to him for as long as he needed it to, and now he's just taken over this lane. 3 in and out of turrets, all down now, by the way. Azubu Blaze are in a very nice position, although we could see a counter push here from KT. They really need to start taking out some turrets though, because they are gonna get starved on this map.
Very aggressive move here. Tower Dive, but has no mana.
Yeah, reset around the back there. Trying to go for a great ult there, pulls in Zero. And Zara there with the ultimate trying to pick up Ambition. It's going to be close, but not enough to passive. No, does miss. And now Equalizer coming up for Rumble. I think maybe trying to snap Zyra. But that went to Azubu Blaze. They didn't lose their turret and they're still killing people. And the pressure right now, I mean, slowly but surely Azubu Blaze Flame now in there as well with the tower dive. Vitamin taking a lot of damage. There's a feast as Captain Jack picks up Rumble. And there's a double kill for Captain Jack. Jeez.
No return kill despite the full-on turret dive from Flame there. very, very strong engage.
3 for 0. And Azubu Blaze, we kind of, you know, we joked about it. They seem to like to lose game 1. Saw them lose game 1 against MVP White, and it wasn't even like, oh, it was a close game that they made mistakes in. It was close to a point, and then they just got dismantled by MVP White. MVP White just executed flawlessly and just took them out. It wasn't close by the end of that game, and Azubu Blaze rattled back with 2 very one-sided games. Here, KT1 took the first game. Azubu Blaze destroyed them in game 2.
And it's just a real shame that we weren't able to see that first game and kind of dissect what it was about KT's play that really, was it that they kept Captain Jack down? Was it the camp to lane? We don't know, unfortunately. All we've seen is a fairly impressive display from Azubu Blaze in the second game, and right now in the driver's seat in the third, but a long way to go.
Yeah, I mean, again, I talk about it. When you take out these 3 auto turrets, especially 3 to 0, the amount of control you get is just absolutely absurd. And the word I used before, I think is quite appropriate here. They are going to starve KT from this map, and they have the late game comp. That's the scary part. You know, KT can do all the turtling they want, but that's exactly what Azubu want. They're happy with that if that's the case, but they're even happier if they're ahead. So it's looking bad, I have to say. There's a lot of momentum and positioning in this game that really favors Azubu right now. But KT, they are by no means out of it. They've got a lot they can do here. And they're going to fight it out. I don't think, unless this game gets ridiculously one-sided, that they are looking to surrender. I mean, last game of the day. Last game anyone's going to play for this qualifier. Last chance for Singapore. They're going to play it out. And they're certainly going to fight their hardest here. Again, by no means down and out right now against the Azubu Blaze, but backs to the wall. Pressure is on for KT right now.
Some of these CS leads are starting to get serious that pastry time. I mean, 218 to 156 at the top lane. Jax has comprehensively won this lane. 258 to 201 in the mid lane. Orianna starting to get ahead for sure.
Flame is
oh wow.
Kills Vitamin. Walks on now on the wall. Last boy actually picks up a tower down there as Cog and him are pushing in. Flame, he finally dies to 4 members, but look what's happening down the bottom lane. Azubu Blaze are pushing in, ambition gets a kill into Olaf as they walk in there.
And the tunneling on trying to kill Flame there. Flame, so much presence up top, drew 4 people, and in an inhibitor turret taken down by Captain Jack there. Great map awareness from Azubu Blaze.
Just far too much pressure from Azubu. They are choking their opponents in this game. Look at the control. They're just waltzing through the blue side of the red jungle here. No respect at all. And why should they? They're not going to get caught. They have a ridiculous amount of map control. What does Flame eat for breakfast every morning that lets him do this?
I have no idea. All I can say is how much respect can we give out to Flame here? He had that snafu with Aurelia trying to solo the red buff at level 1 and it failed. And it's easy to look at him and say, that noob new top laner, what's he doing? But his Jax play, the 2 times we've seen it, has been immaculate. And to be able to draw the aggro of 4 people, tunnel vision 4 people, in such an important game up the top lane and facilitate a free inhibitor turret for the bot lane, Flame is doing his job and then some this game.
And to be fair, even though he kind of mucked up that first Aurelia game we saw against MVP White, he still played Aurelia in the next 2 games, and he played awesome after that. And this is his MO. He just gets aggressive, gets ahead, and then just basically, gets people to come at him and see what happens. And Azubu just takes so much advantage of that. They know what's going on. Look, Cobbler's still down the bottom lane. Captain Jack CS, 224 to 173 right now, and counting.
But look
Captain
at this
Jack.
though, the hard carries. I mean, Jack's free farming top. Cogmore free farming bot. And what can KT Rolster A really do to respond? They're kind of just picking up walls and sort of sacrificing a lot more than they're getting.
And the 3-man Baron has been started by Azubu Blaze. They're barely going to need Jax here to help finish it, but he's going to do quite a bit of damage. Leona is going to ward and be very sad. Poor Wall. Ward's over the top there and it's already gone. And now Azubu, it may be killing blow time for them. I mean, the gold lead already, 12,000 gold at 25 minutes, 6-0 in turret, 7-3. Not the perfect game they had against MVP White, but it's damn close. And KT, they're going to cross some fingers. And they really got to pull deep here. This is
Azubu Blaze, from what we've seen at least today, pastry time, they perform when they need to.
They do. And KT, I mean, they're a great team. They've played so well across multiple events. But they are being tested here by the power of Azubu Blaze. They took out Frost. That's a great achievement. But right now, looking grim. As Azubu Blaze continue to push into the base here, that's going to be one inhibitor down the bottom lane. Flame actually going really deep, trying to pick up a kill there. Bit of zoning from Helios, very nice.
It's not just the kill pastry time, he's zoning out 4 people himself.
Yeah, Mr. Choga. Getting everybody out of the way so they can take out more turrets. Mid turret's going to fall very quickly here. And KT is not a whole lot they can do. They're going to lose one more inhibitor. I think maybe they're going to try and go in. Hero picks up Helios. Resets in a little bit of trouble, and the rest of KT haven't quite found a way in, and Cogmore is in a good spot. There's Ambition killing Leona. Reset gets absolutely mauled by Cogmore as well. And I think, sadly, for KT fans, and rightly so as well, Azubu Blaze,
comes out.
They may have slipped up in a few of their game ones, but ever since they've been playing, Azubu Blaze have rocked every team when it counts. And maybe, you know what, maybe they just like